to the noise that's out there about LSU football and the indictments that are made, unfortunately, so early in this program's development. But the players didn't listen to it. The coaches didn't listen to it. Proud of them and the way that they prepared this football team. And, we played a really good Vanderbilt team. They shorten the game. They hold on to the football. They play good defense. And nice to see a nice crowd out there today. I think, having the fan support out there today was really nice to see, and the support that we got from our fan base. So appreciate them. But I just appreciate our players and the way they came together this week and took full accountability for what they wanted to do, and they went out and did it. So pleased for those guys, and certainly our coaches did a great job of putting our kids in a position to succeed. So with that, we'll open up to questions.
Coach, right down here, you've mentioned multiple times that, before your team takes the field, you feel like you have a pretty good pulse of how they'll come out. Can you talk about that tonight and then relative to what you saw on the field?
Yeah, I think I have a pretty good pulse of our team, all the time, because if you don't, then, there's a disconnect there somewhere. But I would say that we felt like we had a great week of practice. Our preparation was outstanding. Our guys really stood up and said, look, we've got to play better. And as coaches, we took our responsibility and said, listen, let's keep putting our kids in position to make plays. And we'd like to make a couple more. We made it a little bit harder than we had to. But, again, I love the way they competed. And this week in particular, I knew that this football team was going to be ready. And they've been ready. We didn't close out 3 games. We had 3 games that were in the third and fourth quarter that we had a chance to close out, or the narrative would have been much different around here. Everybody would have slept better. I would have slept better, and you guys wouldn't have anything to talk about.
Specifically, the 4th and 5 call, just kind of what were you seeing in that moment that you wanted from your team, and how did it get executed the way that it did?
Yeah, so, we were faced with a number of 4th down situations, probably multiple 4th down situations in terms of our play calls. And, we were getting so much man coverage in those 4th down situations. We knew that we had an opportunity to get the ball out quickly with the coverage being off us. They sat down, very rarely. They gave us a little bit of cushion in those 3rd and shorts and 4th downs, and that was really we felt like the ball could come out quickly, and we could make some people miss.
Coach Josh Williams had a pretty big game for you guys.
He
tonight.
did.
What was he sort of seeing as a runner, and what made him so effective in helping you guys stay ahead of the sticks?
He ran through the face of a number of defenders. It was physicality. It was want to. It was desire. It was all those things in one. It was just a guy that was, committed to no matter what, the first guy's not going to bring me down. And he set a tone for our entire team, a toughness on offense and a resolve that these guys showed this week. And I think he was one of our leaders this week, spoke up many times. He spoke up before our meal today when we meet with our team. He really was committed to making sure that we found a way to win this game.
Brian, you've done this job for decades. You've had weeks like this.
Yeah.
Did you talk about just getting through a week like this, not just the losses, but the loss of a recruit and just the noise just kept getting louder and louder, and how you kind of handled that?
Yeah, the recruiting doesn't mean a whole heck of a lot when you're talking about your football team in the present, right? Everybody else certainly felt differently about that recruiting piece. But that didn't really affect our players, nor the coaches. Yeah, you're disappointed because you've put, many, many years into recruiting, but it really didn't affect the core of what we wanted to accomplish. And that was, we wanted to finish this football game. And we finished taking a knee on the 10-yard line. And that's how you want to finish football game. So, yeah, the noise was there, but you're going to get noise at LSU when you lose 3 games in a row. But it wasn't because of our guys not being committed, and they show that commitment this week.
Brian, when you guys ran the ball, the offensive line blocked well enough to where you guys didn't have a single negative rushing play tonight. What was different about that group and its preparation?
It's a good question. I will tell you, a lot of it had to do with certainly the offensive line and getting great movement up front. But more importantly, it was Garrett Nussmeier. He managed the running game as well as he's managed it since he's been here. The ball had to get out on the perimeter on sometimes. You know, those balls that were thrown out on the perimeter, Aaron Anderson or Daniels, those were, in even Lacey Late, those were run plays. But we were getting overloaded, and the ball needs to get out to the soft corner or to wherever that access is. And he did a fabulous job with it. And this is the standard that we need from him relative to where our running game can be really solid if we get that kind of play, which he gave us tonight.
Considering all the noise you were talking about and the negativity of the week, what was your reaction when one play it's 7-0, one play into the game?
I didn't. I felt like we were going to overcome it. I felt confident in our football team that they were prepared and they were going to win this football game. And I felt that on the sideline, and just stayed positive with the group and kept plugging. And we came back with a great drive to tie the thing up. And obviously from there, I thought we controlled the game from there on out.
Coach, you talked about it a little bit in the back, about Josh Williams. He was
Yeah.
part of the player-led meeting. And do you think maybe this game was a statement to his team, being a veteran, of what he expects from this team?
Absolutely. And he said that. He goes, this is what we expect here at LSU. This is what I expect. And everybody did. I mean, he was echoing the feelings of the entire team, but he could do it from a position of experience. He could do it from a position where he's been down this road before and was able to lend that to everybody else in the program. And I think it really affected some of the younger players in a positive way. We saw some things from our younger players this week that we hadn't seen, maturity from them. And he set the table early on, and then he backed it up tonight, and that's what you love to see.
Hey, Coach, here in the back corner, we're going to stick with Josh here. Getting him more involved in the receiving game as well, probably that we haven't seen from him in a while. How was he able to open up the offense in that?
Well, we were running a lot of 4 vertical, and they were carrying those inside seams with their linebackers. So the linebackers were running with those inside seams, which created a big disparity between the depth of the linebacker that was trying to get into the seam route and our check down. So we said, look, if they carry the seams, just check it down. We're going to get 12 to 15 yards, and we might have averaged that on our checkdowns tonight.
Hey, Coach, do you feel like sticking with that 4-3 look allowed you guys to shoot the gaps a lot quicker and maybe just a lot easier just in times past?
Yeah, I mean, look, to talk about scheme right now is not what I'm interested in doing, but I'll answer the question. You want to be in a lot more 4 down against a power running team like this. You don't want a lot of bubbles. You don't want a lot of air in your defense. So this is a team in particular that you want to stay in much more 4 down than 3 down. And, you know, we'll change it up, right? I mean, we'll get into some 3 down in the 3rd and long situations, but, you know, I thought 4 down was the right call in terms of what we worked on in practice this week against this offense.
Hey, Coach. I saw you meet with Nuss and Will after the game there briefly. What was your message to them?
Just, you know, I appreciated their leadership, you know, and how they stepped up. And look, at the end of the day, you guys were at the same press conference that he was at. He took full responsibility and accountability for, you know, how we were playing. And then the coaches took full responsibility and accountability for, you know, not getting our players in a better position to succeed. So this was all of us together, coming together and saying, we have to all be better. And they were better, and I'm happy for them.
I know you've mentioned this multiple times, but just talk more about West Weeks and his, you know, obviously willingness to help contribute tonight and kind of what went into that and his ability to be ready when you wanted to call his number.
Yeah, I mean, it was just a great way to, look at somebody that is totally committed to what we're doing and being ready to step in when needed. The Weeks boys have been instrumental in helping us continue to grow as a program, and both of them, we're very confident we'll have them back next year, and with that, you get great leadership and you get guys greatly committed to what you're doing. So you can push them up in front and say, this is how it's done. And when you have a lot of those guys out there, it just helps everybody in the program.
Brian, you've talked a few times here about just coaches putting players in better positions to make plays. What were some of the things that they did tonight that you thought were maybe different or better in that regard?
I just thought we were simpler. I think we had 5 calls on defense. And we ran some pass plays multiple times. It wasn't a different look. We were very consistent with our play calls on both sides. And that was the mantra this week is be committed to the call. Whatever that call is, execute that call. And we're not going to have a lot of calls this week. We cut out a lot. And like I said, we ran 4 vertical probably more times than I can remember in a game. But we had the checkdowns. We had other avenues to get the ball out. And I think that really helped our players stay locked in on the call and be committed to the call. Good, thanks.